Welcome to eAcademy. This episode is the first of a series about the GSM-X Universal Communication Module. It has been designed to replace the current SATEL GSM series modules. Based on the experience we have gathered, as well as opinions and suggestions of users, installers, and our distributors, the new device not only combines the functionality of its predecessors, but also offers many new interesting additional solutions. At first, we will discuss the construction of the module. On the GSM-X electronics board, you will find 4 programmable NO/NC inputs, 4 programmable low-voltage open collector type outputs, a power supply input and an APS connector for connecting a dedicated power supply, for example the APS 612, an analog telephone line input, a mini USB connector used to connect the module to a computer during programming, an RS-232 port to connect the module, for example to the intricate alarm control panels, LEDs indicating the module state, 2 nano SIM card slots, and industrial GSM telephone. An important note, the 2 SIM cards are handled in the same way as the Perfecta control panels. This means that only one card is active at a time. If the card currently in use causes any communication problems, for example during a network failure, the module will automatically switch to the other card. Some GSM network operators offer the possibility to use the infrastructure of their partners as part of the so-called national roaming. If this is the case, you can use an X company card to connect to a Y company base station. To use this option, when configuring the device, define the MCC/MNC code of the operator of the network which the module is going to log into. This procedure is used, for example, to make the module connect to the GSM network with the highest signal strength in the given premises. Thus, you can avoid problems with the signal level which may be too weak or insufficient for correct communication. These settings are available in the dedicated GXSoft configuration software for SATEL communication modules. The GSM-X module also offers features available only for prepaid cards. The device can automatically check the account balance and alert you if it is below the programmed minimum amount. An interesting feature of the new communication module is that you can extend it by adding the dedicated GSM-X ETH Earthnet module. The GSM-X ETH gives the device access to Earthnet, which is an additional communication channel. The GSM-X ETH is designed for so-called sandwich mounting on the GSM-X module. No tools are required and the whole operation only takes a moment. The GSM-X is referred to as a universal communication module. It is universal because it offers extended functionality, support for multiple communication paths, and can work with virtually any alarm control panel. The module can work with the above-mentioned control panels in 2 ways. One consists in receiving, from the control panel, information that is generated through the control panel's dialer. The other method is to connect appropriately configured control panel outputs to the module inputs. Now then, what can we use the GSM-X communication module for? One of the possible applications is to use it for reporting. The module can transmit to monitoring stations the information on various events received from the connected alarm control panel. They can be transmitted in audio formats generated by the control panel dialer, or by violating 4 programmable inputs which are available in the module. In addition, the module will report the occurrence of various types of internal events, such as troubles, and will send a message that the state of the outputs has changed, for example, during their remote control. The GSM-X can transmit this information in several ways. It can use GPRS technology as well as TCP or UDP protocols. It can also generate audio reporting via the GSM channel. The data can also be sent as SMS messages. However, if the GSM-X ETH is connected to the module, the information can be transferred using the Earthnet network. If the GSM-X is used in conjunction with the GSM-X ETH extension module, the so-called dual-path reporting can be used. The device verifies the state of the connections to the monitoring station in real time, both via Earthnet and GPRS. When necessary, it replaces one communication channel with the other, thus ensuring communication efficiency. The applied solution complies with the rigorous requirements of the EN 50136 standard for the DP4 category. Moreover, data can be defined for 2 independent monitoring stations, each of which can have 2 IP addresses. Another application of GSM-X may be using it for messaging. Users of 8 telephone numbers can be notified of the same events as in the case of reporting, and so the parties concerned will be notified of the events that the module has received from the alarm control panel as part of audio reporting, as well as about violations of module inputs, occurring internal events, and changes of device outputs state. In the case of some control panels that generate messages in pager format, the GSM-X module can forward such a message via SMS. As regards to messaging, the module can implement it in several ways. First, it can call the indicated number and play back the audio message stored in the built-in voice module. It can also use the so-called clip service, that is, make a silent call. The GSM-X can also send the aforementioned SMS messages. Another increasingly popular way of receiving information is push messages, but they only apply to users of mobile devices on which the GX Control application is installed. However, we will return to the mobile application itself in a moment. In the case of Integra and Integra Plus series control panels, we talk about extended interaction with the module. What is it about? The Integra and Integra Plus devices connect to the GSM-X module via the RS-232 interface, thus gaining a few additional functions. The module can report events received from the control panel by sending their codes via the GSM or Ethernet network, provided that the GSM-X ETH module is connected. Similarly, it can notify the concerned parties of the events by using the cellular network. It is worth adding that when the module is used with the Integra Plus control panels, the text of the SMS notifications is based directly on the event list. Thus, you do not have to program each message separately. Moreover, the GSM-X allows remote connection to the two programs. The first one is DLoadX, used for configuring the panels. The other is GuardX, intended for administering the system based on the Integra control panels. In addition, the GSM-X module offers transmission of large amounts of data per unit of time. Because of this, communication with the control panels is very fast. GSM-X can play the role of so-called GSM Gateway. This means that devices connected to the module's telephone line input can make connections by using both the landline and the GSM network. When configuring the module, you can specify the priority of the communication paths. Where the landline is designated as the primary path, in the event of its failure, the GSM-X may forward the calls to the GSM network, using it as a backup communication path. In addition, when used in conjunction with the Private Branch Exchanges PBX, the Universal Communication Module can work as an additional external line. Through it, calls can be made to cell numbers, thus keeping the cost of such calls optimized. Okay, let's go to the other possibilities offered by the GSM-X. As we have shown earlier, the module has 4 programmable open collector outputs. They can be used not only for arming and disarming the alarm system based on the control panel connected to the GSM-X. They can also be used to implement the functions of building automation, for example to control lighting, garage door, roller blinds, or heating. Individual outputs can be activated by SMS messages, using clip service, using DTMF tone dialing, from the GX Control mobile app, or from a computer with the GX Soft configuration software installed. Another feature of the GSM-X Universal Communication Module is that it can work in conjunction with the STAM2 monitoring station offered by SATEL. In such a case, the module can act as a receiving of events transmitted to the monitoring station via SMS and clip. In addition, the device can send SMS messages generated by the station itself. Very well, and what about the configuration of the GSM-X module? To program and operate the module, you must use the previously mentioned GX software. Its clear interface is very similar to that of another already known SATEL product, namely Perfecta Soft, the configuration program for Perfecta series control panels. The GX Soft program and configuration of the GSM-X module will be discussed in detail in a separate eAcademy episode. Connection between the module and the computer can be established in several ways. The computer can connect to the module locally via a USB port or remotely by using GPRS technology. Of course, you can also configure the module via Ethernet, provided that the GSM-X ETH is connected to the module being configured. When connecting to the GSMX from another location, the SATEL connection setup service can be used. It is a convenient and secure solution thanks to which the computer with GXSoft software does not need to have an external IP address. The entire procedure to establish connection takes only a few moments. Now that we are talking about the connection setup service, it should be added that it is also used to connect the previously mentioned GX Control mobile application. This application is available to users of both Android as well as iOS devices. GX Control is a handy tool that makes it possible to remotely control module outputs and, consequently, of connected devices or systems as well. The application also allows you to check the state of the inputs and outputs of the module and view recorded internal events, including troubles. Additionally, the user can define the application, the events of which he or she will be informed by push notifications. All the functions are available at any time from any place. All you need is a smartphone or a tablet with internet access. And now, important information for every installer. The GSM-X is compatible with the Upserve program. So, much in the same way as in the case of other SATEL devices with a built-in GSM telephone, you can download the new firmware versions remotely without having to physically visit the premises and dismount the module. And finally, commercial information. The GSM-X Universal Communication Module is sold complete with the OPU2B enclosure and the ANT GSM-I antenna. And that's all for today. Next time, we'll take a look at the GPRS-A Universal Monitoring Module, how to configure these modules from the GXSoft program, and how to operate them from the GX Control mobile application will be discussed in the following eAcademy episodes. We thank you for your attention and invite you to watch the next episode of eAcademy. See you next time.